ladies, and welcome to the Beauty Shaman. So today I wanted to do a makeup on one of my very favorite personalities in the world, and that is Betty White. So if you have been on this planet any longer than like a minute, you know who Betty White is. I actually think she might be like 98, 99 now. I don't know if any of you want to correct me on that, but she has been doing television, sitcoms, and movies for a really long time. And I love her feistiness. I love her incorrectness. I love her potty mouth. I just think she's just the coolest person. She's the kind of person you just want to hang out with, right? You just want to sit and like have a little vodka with her or something. Like that's kind of the vibe that she has. And so I thought, let's do it. Let's do a Betty White makeup. And I love her makeup. Whoever does her makeup does a beautiful job of just making her look playful and fun and colorful. And I think as older women, this is such a valuable thing to know how to do on your face, is to really use color and vibrancy in a way that really shows who you are, shows your personality. So I love that. I love having a sense of style and a sense of taste that comes with age. So let's do Betty White. Before I get started, please visit my website at thebeautyshaman.com to shop at my store. Use the code SB10 for 10% off everything. And then also be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you get alerted every time I upload a video. And my last point here is be sure, if you're interested in any of the products I use, down below it says show more, and there's a little button. Click that and it'll drop down and you can see all the products, links to all the products that I use in this video. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so Betty White. So I hope you have your tea or your coffee or whatever you're drinking. Let's talk Betty White. All right, so I have a few Betty White quotes here I want to read before we get started, just because I think they're so awesome. So one of them here is, I may be a senior, but so what? I'm still hot. I love that. In my head, I'm the ultimate cougar, animal lover that I am. The older you get, the better you get, unless you're a banana. So let's look at a picture of Betty White so you know where I'm headed here with the makeup. So this is a really lovely picture of her. I pulled my hair back so that we could really, like, she's got silver hair, which I don't yet. I haven't quite caved to the silver hair, but I will. You'll know about it. But I love this. I mean, it just shows her energy and her optimism and her feistiness and her silliness, and I just love it. But she has on a bright pink, and this is actually pink. I think the photograph has actually made it look a little red, but it actually is pink. She primarily wears pink. And then she has pink blush and she has false lashes on. And it's hard to tell because, she's smiling and our eyes always squint when we smile. But we are going to do some false lashes. We're going to talk about that. And she's wearing white, which, I think is great. As you get older, it really brightens your face. I've chosen to wear a kind of a bluish, pinky color because I think wearing color is so important as you get older. It really brightens your whole complexion in your face. So if you're wearing brown, black, taupe, like you just need to throw it out, right? Black can be chic. It just depends on how it's worn, but I really do encourage all of you to, branch out and try color. Okay, so let's get going. See, I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm ready to get going. Now I'm growing my bangs a bit, so I've had these short bangs for quite a while, so I'm going to let them get a little bit of length. So please excuse that. We're on the grow out process here. So let's get going with what she would normally do. So I'm going to put a little bit of moisturizer on. What have I got here in front of me? Oh, let's do a little sea serum. Little sea serum, my favorite serum, just to add a little bit of hydration. Your skin always loves a little hydration. Not even a little, it wants a lot, right? So before you do makeup, be sure you prep your skin with some really good hydration and moisturizer. So I love the sea serum. Just using a little bit around my eye area. I tend to get dry on my lids. Do you ever have that? It's such an interesting thing. The rest of my face is not dry, but my eyelids get dry. Go figure. All right, let's use Jane Iredale. This is Smooth Affair Primer. Just helps to keep your makeup on. If you have a tendency to have your makeup come off during the day, I'm one of those people. So I always wear a primer. You can also mix it with your foundation for more of a sheer coverage. And if you've watched my video where I did the makeup for Iris Apfel, I didn't do it on her, I did it on me. But I'll put that in the upper corner here. But one of the points I made with that is as you get older, you may not need to use foundation. I am going to put a little face and body here, some MAC on. But as you get older, sometimes like less is more. And I think sometimes if you just want to use a little foundation around your eye area, maybe around your nose and mouth, but you don't have to put it everywhere. Or if you do put it everywhere, be sure your skin is in really good shape and don't use powder on top of it, or only use powder where you need it, like spot use powder. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do in this video is just add a little powder where I need it, just so that I don't shine in certain areas. And I put a little more foundation around my eye area because, again, we don't want to use a ton of concealer. I think there's this trend of using gobs of concealer, oh my God, on younger women, where they just take it and they go all the way under the eye and all the way up. And it's like, that's great if you have not a line on your face. It's fabulous. But as we get older, that just completely does not work. It's filed under bad in your computer, right? So don't do that. So I'm going to use a little bit of concealer appropriately. So one of the things I do is I layer my foundation so that I don't have to use as much concealer. Okay, so the concealer I'm going to use today is the Jane Iredale brand, and I have a corrector and a concealer. So I'm only going to use one of these because that's really all my face needs. It's this one here. This comes in different colors. It's a good concealer. It's a really good concealer. You have to be sure your skin is always hydrated though. I think if you do unhydrated skin around your eyes, nothing's going to blend. It's going to look terrible. So hydration is really, really important. Be sure to check out some of my videos on skincare. I just did an interview with Ben Fuchs and I posted that about dry skin. I highly recommend that. I'll put that in the corner. Just to really take care of your skin inside and outside. Okay, it's not just an external thing. All right, so I've just put a little bit of my finger there and I'm just going to touch it in here. So just here, right? And I'm just going to lightly tap it in. Now I have a lot of discoloration over my lids, so sometimes I take my concealer and go all the way across my lid. But if you have oily lids, I definitely don't recommend that. So I see I have a little brown right here. Some of you have that. Just touch that. You don't have to take it everywhere. Now, I tend to have puffy underneath my eyes. I think it's because I have a glass of wine with dinner, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't have a glass of wine with dinner and I still have puffiness, so I'm not sure what that's about. But anyway, so I'm just touching this where I need it, and I try to keep it off the puffiness. If you put something light on something puffy, it's going to make it look bigger. Does that make sense? So you want to either avoid it altogether or put a darker color. I do that sometimes on women who sit in my chair. I use a slightly darker color underneath their eye, not in here, right? Because this tends to be like whatever goes in, you want to bring out. Whatever goes out, you want to go back, right? So dark recedes, light brings out. So try to remember these kind of ideas because it'll really help you with your under eye area. Okay, then I always take this and I go a little bit around my nose because we always have a little bit of redness. And then I tend to do this just on my nose here. And what that does is it helps with, if you're making this part of your eye really light, then your nose is kind of dark, right? So if you do a line down the middle, it brings out your nose and it also helps to break all this up, which is really good. So I think this is great. And if you have any spots you want to cover, like I've got my lovely little age spot right here. I put retinol on this every day, a little bit of 5% retinol, and it just helps to bring it down a little bit. I honestly don't pay much attention to it other than that. Let me do the other side. Okay, so you see how that just took out discoloration, which is what I'm looking for. You can still see a lot of my discoloration over my eyelid. I'm just going to leave that. I'm not going to play around too much with that. We're going to put eyeshadow on. I don't think you're going to see it. So now I'm going to do a little powder, and I'll show you how I'm going to use this. I just take a regular brush like this. This is just kind of a poofy. See how much poof is in there, right? And I'm going to dip it in a little bit of Ben Nye Fair powder. I'll put that, again, the links are all down below. And I'm going to just put this around my eye area, a little bit on my nose, and over my lids so my eyeshadow doesn't crease. If you have crepey lids, there are solutions to that. Check out my video on crepey lids. I feel like I'm driving you guys all to other videos, but in any case, there are some solutions. Having said that, if you have crepey lids, don't put powder on them because it brings out the crepiness. And then I put a little bit of this on my forehead, if your forehead shows, like mine's going to a little bit. And that's it. That's all you need. Like, look, my skin looks healthy. It looks You know, it's got a little tiny bit of glow to it, but not too much. And then it really helps keep the rest of my makeup on around my eyes. Okay. So we're going to do a fill in our brows. Now, Betty White does, and she just takes a blonde color. So if you have gray hair, sometimes you can use like a blue-gray in your eyebrow, just kind of depends. Normally, I lean towards using a blonde color in your brows, a very light blonde, and that can work really well with gray hair. Sometimes blue just looks sort of blue, right? If you do a blue-gray, but if you just depends on how blue it is and all those kind of factors. So I do try to stick them mostly with a blonde shade in your eyebrows. I'm going to use an eyeshadow with a thin slanted brush because I really like eyeshadow. You can also do a pencil. I would definitely get a waterproof pencil. Jane Iredale makes a really good waterproof pencil. Actually, I could have grabbed that. I have one. In any case, you do the same thing. You basically just kind of lightly fill it in, or if you don't have eyebrows, then you have to draw it, okay? Draw the complete eyebrow in. And what I do then is I just run my fingers over the top, just so that it doesn't look as filled in, right, as drawn. And her eyebrows are beautiful. They're just very soft, and they're there, but they're not like taking over her face. Like, eyebrows are so in right now, and you see so many people with these heavy-duty eyebrows, and that's fine. My daughter does that. But as you get older, it's not appropriate for our faces. So I would say avoid that little trend. So mostly on my brows, I just fill in the outer edge. I really don't do the inner part just because I think it's more flattering for me to pull it out. And I think that's true for most people. Unless you have to completely fill your brow in, then obviously you got to do that inner part there. So I'm going to do a little bit of contour. Now, mostly on older women, kind of referring back to the Iris Apfel video, on older women, you really don't need very much contour, if any at all. But I am going to warm up my face because I've got a lot of cool tones here. I've got pink. I am going to do a color video. Someone had asked me to do that. I will do that. You know, this pink, mostly everything I'm going to use on my face, including the eyeshadow palette I'm going to use, are all going to be in the cool tones, in the pink tones. So sometimes it can help to just warm up your skin a little bit with a blush or a contour. So I'm going to use this color right here, which is a little bit warmer and darker than my skin. It's kind of a copper tone, but not quite as orange, okay? And I'm going to use a blush contour brush, and you'll see the difference here. And I'm just going to do it as if I'm doing contour. Normally contour is kind of just a brown, like a couple shades darker than your skin, a brown. Or you can use bronzer, which is more, a little bit of iridescent, and it's more red, right? But with older women, I find that it can look really overdone really quickly, and you can look like dirt really quickly. So I tend to try to warm up the skin, and that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so that's really warmed it up. Now I'm going to take that exact same color with a very large brush, and I'm just going to put it in the crease. And this also warms up the eye area because, again, I'm using all cool tones on my eyes, and sometimes a little bit of warmth is nice. And I'm all into layering. Layering's great when it comes to colors. So that looks great. I mean, that's just a really nice, clean look. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of blush. So I'm going to use Jane Iredale Barely Rose. This is just a nice rosy blush. Not going to do a ton of color on my blush because it's all going to be on the lips, and then we're going to have false lashes. I love false lashes. I don't like wearing them. I like putting them on people. They bother me when I wear them, but I think it's a great solution if your eyelashes are thinning. I mean, it's inexpensive, right? They're cheap. Like, throw them on. It's great. All right, so I'm going to do lips, and then we're going to do eyes last. So I'm going to put, this is Jane Iredale. I'm using a lot of Jane Iredale today. This whole color scheme just is perfect for a lot of their colors. So this is called Natalie. And I love these because they're magnetic. Isn't that amazing? I love it. Doesn't come off in your purse. I just find that to be like such a great little trick. All right, so Natalie is a wonderful pink. It's nice. It's slightly darker or more rose than what I'm wearing, which I like. I don't like to match things. It's just my own issue there. I like to go a little under the color I'm wearing. All right, I'm going to do a little lip liner. So this is by Lip Bar. Ooh, it's all beat up. But anyway, this is just a kind of nice pink. I'm going to go over the top. You want to match your lip liner to your lipstick as you get older. I think when you're younger, you can kind of, play around with that, but not as you get older. Really want to match it. This is a tiny bit more mauve, actually, than my lipstick, which I think is nice. Okay, lots of color on the lips. So now we're going to head over to eyes, and I'm going to use a palette. This is, again, another Jane Iredale palette. It's very dirty, sorry. I always think I'm going to clean them, and I never do. This is called Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. So the palette is just beautiful. I love this for spring, summer. This is such an ideal palette. If you're looking for a spring, summer palette with pinks and purples, I think this is so perfect. So we've got, the highlight is even a little bit pinky. A nice lid color, or you can also use this in the crease. Great crease liner color. A bit of black with some silver in it. So pretty. And then a little bit of gold. Why not? We need a little gold. So I'm going to use this palette primarily. And then the other thing I'm going to use is Onyx. So we are going to use a black eyeliner from Jane Iredale. I don't use Onyx very much, but I am going to, because in every single Betty White picture, if you look at it, she has a very dark liner on top because it really opens up her eyes. And I've often spoken about not using black on older women. However, you can. You can also use charcoal. I tend to lean towards charcoal. But I thought today, since Betty White does wear a dark eyeliner, we are going to go with Onyx just because it does work and it can work. Okay, so to start off with, I'm actually going to start with my liner. So the Jane Iredale comes with a little brush. I can't get it off in the lid. I like a little bit of a longer brush. I find it easier to work with. So I'm going to use my, oops, wrong one. Okay, there we go. Now I've got the right one. So just slanted, but very stiff, okay? Because I really need to get some coverage here for this. And I'm going to go right next to my lashes. And, you know, you can yell at me. I pull my eye just a bit. It really does help to be able to see. If you can do it without pulling, you know, mazel tov. I just have a harder time with it. So I don't pull other people's eyes, mind you. I pull my own. And I'm just putting this right next to my lashes. And you go tip to tip. Don't go halfway. Be committed. Go all the way over. And I do have a really good how to wear eyeliner video. Again, check that out. And just how I'm doing this. Because you notice I just kind of go slowly, just peck away at it. This is a gel, it's not a liquid. So you don't have to do the line, you know, perfect the first time. You just kind of do this. And then I can use the black in the palette to touch it up if the line isn't great. But look how much of a difference that made. Really cool, huh? Okay, other eye. Okay, so because my vision is a little wonky, it's this eye that I always mess up right there, which I think is so interesting. It's like, all right, so now I'm going to take this and blend it out a little bit because this line, as you can see, kind of closes my eyes in because it's so stark. So we're going to soften that down, and I'm going to use the black, and we're going to take black. I know, right? We're taking black, but it's got a little gold fleck in it, so it's not like a really raw, like carbon black. And I'm going to take this brush, which is, it's slanted, but it's a little bit poofy. You can also use pencil brushes are really great for what I'm about to do. So if you have a pencil brush or even just a slightly poofy brush, this works really well. And we're just going to run it over the top. And it just takes that edge down just a little bit. And I want to keep it away from the inner part of my eye. Again, see, I mess it up a little bit right there. It's so funny because I can't. Okay, so I've got a really dark line on top, but it's smudged out. Now you do have to work at this, okay? I do the liner, I do the little bit of soft black on top, and then sometimes I'll just take a big brush and run it over the top just to soften out all the edges so that you don't have any hard edges, okay? Because as we get older with lines, we really want everything in our face to be super diffused and soft. Okay, so moving on. Let's go back to our palette here. Let me find, I don't know why I can't find things today. Have you noticed I've said I need to find, and then I can't find it. What's up with that? Is it a full moon? Okay, so now we're going to head to the crease. So I'm going to use, again, back to our palette here. So I'm going to start with this color in the crease, and then I'm going to move to the purple. But right now we're going to start with a kind of just a soft pink, and I'm going to go right up in the crease. Now she has a fair bit of makeup on, as you can tell. Like this is not like, hey, I'm going to the grocery store. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe you guys like to, do that. And I think that's fabulous. If that's you, I'm all about you being you. And you really honoring that inner diva you've got going on. So yeah, see, that just kind of adds a little bit more depth to it. Now I'm going to take the silver, sorry, the gold, and I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to tap it right in the middle. Didn't really use a lid color. You don't really always need it. Especially this look, I think it's all about what's going on in the liner and adding a little bit of space in here so that it isn't just sort of just liner, right? We're adding some space with the silver or the gold. I keep calling it silver. Just tap it in a little bit. See, that's pretty. Adds a little bit of space, and then you get a lot going on, up. I have real estate, right? But, just do a nice, not too heavy crease color because all the attention really is going to be around your eye. Lastly, I'm going to use the purple, the dark purple color, and I'm going to go underneath. Again, I can't find a brush. I think the losing the brush thing really is that I washed my brushes and I didn't put them back in the normal, like I have a normal spacing that I put and I didn't do that. I just sort of dumped them here. So that's my excuse. All right. So I'm going to use a slanted brush and I'm going to put it in the dark purple. Now, if you look at all of her pictures underneath her eyes, she has a little purple. Now, if you have a lot of red around your eyes or already purple around your eyes, you're going to have to take that out with concealer or foundation or something so that you don't have so much going on underneath your eye because you'll look like you've got red eye. And you can also see the black kind of smudges a little bit right here. Like see how it kind of goes underneath? So you just take a Q-tip and get rid of that. Nice. So we've got some purple underneath. We've got lots on top. Now let's do some lashes. Lashes. Okay, so this is the completed version of Betty White makeup, and I want to explain a few things. You do have to tweak it quite a bit. So I did, once I put my lashes on, I had to go back and tweak it. And what I mean by that is you have to connect this lash line with the dark eyeliner here. So what I do is I dip my brush into the black and just be sure that you connect these two little bops here. If you don't, then you can kind of see it, like there's a little bit of an edge there. So, it's hard to get it exactly right, especially when you're doing this on yourself. So as you can see, even I can't get it perfectly right. So I connected a little bit with a little bit of eyeshadow. That helps. So anyway, but otherwise you can see this is a really playful, really fun makeup. No wonder Betty White does this. And then when you smile, like all this stuff kind of crunches up and you really see that black eyeliner, which is awesome. And as you can see, it's not like a harsh black. It's nicely blended out. And then we have a lot of color in pink. So don't be afraid to wear color. Don't be afraid to wear false lashes. I will do a video on how to apply false lashes. I don't think I've done that before. But in any case, I love false lashes on older women. I think they're just fabulous. So let me know what you think of that. Do you like false lashes? Do you wear them? Please give me some feedback. I love to hear from all of you. Thank you so much for watching The Beauty Shaman. And go Betty White, man. You got another at least 20 years in you, right? Have a great day.